Okay, guys, here's an interesting new find that they found in South America in a place they call Cave of the Bats. This is a suit of armor they have found. It has claws on its shoulders and vicious teeth coming out of it, and I think you can see what this actually looks like. It was found with two extended arm claws that are found, and the suit of armor has spikes on its knees and on the tops of its feet, too. So it's quite a strange find here, and I mean it's got to be Batman, right? I mean, okay, that's no good. All right, no, that's no good. All right, let me try this one. So they've tried a few instances of Batman here lately, and of course the Val Kilmer and the George Clooney Batman really left people a little lackluster. And so, with the Dark Knight series and having to have some competition, they thought they'd go way off in left field. And so now we're going to have Aztec Batman, and Aztec Batman is going to fight the conquistadors in a modern PC world. He's going to actually fight the conquistadors off and kill them off, and so it never happened, and then the world's a changed place. No? Okay, well, how about this as an exhibit somebody made that really is inspired by Batman and to give it a modern look? But there actually is a bat god that they have, a Batman, existing in Mesoamerica mythology, and his name was Camazotz. As social media is abuzz with who might be cast in the next Batman movie, with concerns of some of the candidates might not be menacing enough to fill those big black boots, it might be time to look again for one of those bat figurines that figure as an imposing power in Mesoamerican mythology. Pardon me, the Camazotz. Camazotz meaning death bat in Quiche Mayan language of Guatemala originated deep in Mesoamerican mythology as a dangerous cave-dwelling bat creature. A cult following for the creature began amongst the Zapotec Indians of Oaxaca, Mexico, and the figure was later adopted into the pantheon of the Maya Quiche tribe, and to the legends of a bat god were later recorded in Mayan literature. Very little of it exists, though. Bats are considered to be menacing creatures in many cultures. They are nocturnal and thus associated with the night, which is often associated with death. Many common species have also a relatively bizarre appearance, which makes them all the more off-putting for humans. It doesn't help that there's a species that actually sucks blood, the vampire bat, which is Desmodus rotundus, but they found a creature that's actually much bigger than that, by the way. In the Maya culture, the bat god Camazotz is linked to death. Camazotz is also the name of a monstrous creature which inhabited a cave called the House of Bats in the Popol Vuh. Most scholars believe that the Camazotz was inspired by the common vampire bat, but others have suggested that it was just based on a giant vampire bat that probably went extinct sometime during the Pleistocene or Holocene periods. And here's a depiction of that bat god that's there, and you can tell he's got like a furryish appearance on his arms and extra spikes, and his full wing attachment to it, and he's known for sacrificing and killing people and then drinking their blood, and he's got this sharp knife on his nose too that he pokes people with and then drinks their blood. And so kind of neat and weird. He also has a tail, which this helps him to guide himself. And I don't know if that's not really just another piece of sash, but they said he has a tail. A monster bat. In the Popol Vuh, an ancient Mayan mythological text, Zotzila was the name of a cave inhabited by the Camazotz, a monster with a roughly humanated body and the head of a bat, Zotzila, Godzilla, and a nose that resembled a flint knife, they say. The monster was said to attack victims by the neck and decapitate them and drink their blood. In the Popol Vuh, it is recorded that this creature decapitated the Maya hero Hunafu. Camazotz is also one of the 4 animal demons responsible for wiping out mankind during the age of the first sun, and this is a zodiacal progression reference, by the way. And it's believed that in their zodiac, it's possible maybe the bird that's hooked up to Cygnus might have actually signified this guy. Cygnus signified this? Never mind. Oh, here's a picture of the hero about to get attacked, but they don't show the creature. Here he is flying in, I guess, at the edge of the scene. Much easier to draw them than it was to try to draw a bat demon. Bat-like demons and monsters are common in South America and Central America. Another example of such a story is the Concan in Peru and Chile, which is thought to be created when a sorcerer known as a kaku performs a magical rite, causing his several heads to sprout giant ears and talons at death. And you can find a creature just like this in Dungeons and Dragons too, by the way. The creature's giant ears become wings, and so it turns into an odd creature. This ubiquity of a giant bat monster legend leads many archaeologists to propose that the monsters might have a basis in encounters with a real large animal, a giant vampire bat. The vampire bat is favored because of its historical association with bloodletting and sacrifice, and of course all the legends we have with it, with Dracula and all the things that go with that. And of course they can carry rabies and things like that too, and they bite you in the night. And we've watched them now, and there's not usually so much of an attack, but they sneak up on animals and they bite them on the heel, and their saliva almost makes it where it doesn't hurt, and then they come up and they lick the blood off of them and things like that. Vampire bats, they crawl up to farm animals and things a lot too, but they can also attack women. They get caught in your hair a lot. There's a lot of mythology that goes with it and everything. So it is, however, possible that the legends could be derived from a giant bat that was present during the Pleistocene or early Holocene, one of which may even still exist today. And here's like a drawing depiction of this, and Dungeons and Dragons has a creature just like this. Giant vampire bats. In 1988, a fossil of a vampire bat was discovered in the Mangas province of Venezuela. The bat was larger than the modern vampire bat by 25% and was dubbed Desmodius Dracula. It is more popularly known as the giant vampire bat. Sites containing examples have been found in the Yucatan, Belize, northern Brazil, and Venezuela. In 2000, a tooth from D. draculae was found in Argentina, much farther south of the modern range of the Desmodius genus. It is difficult to date exactly when the D. draculae went extinct, or if it went extinct at all. All of the sites have been dated to so far between the late Pleistocene and late Holocene. And here's a depiction of a vampire bat. The latest age found for D. draculae site is 300 years before present, which is only 1650 AD. The latest age in Central America is hard to ascertain, but it's probably either late Pleistocene or Holocene. These dates make it very possible, I'm sorry guys, that D. draculae coexisted with humans in South America at the same time in Central America, and humans could have become in contact with D. draculae though towards the late Holocene, they would have been vanishingly rare. So in other words, they're saying they may have run into them, but it was probably a rare thing. But then again, that's how a lot of mythologies get, where there's this rare creature, this unicorn, this type of thing that happened. And if it's a god, then there's only one of them, and so people see one every once in a while. It's not, the thunderbird, if they're condors, there's a bunch of them, but then again, there's only one thunderbird, right? And then people see that every once in a while. In addition to this evidence, there have been mysterious sightings of giant bats or bat-like creatures. One of the earliest sightings to date was 1947, when J. Harrison claimed to have seen several large flying creatures which are described as giant bats, though some people also claimed that they were living pterosaurs. And this was in the jungle down in there. In the early 1950s, a Brazilian couple claimed that they encountered a bat-like creature in the same valley that fossils of D. draculae were discovered in Brazil. Another incident occurred in 1975 when an outbreak of animal mutilations hit Puerto Rico. A farmer said that he was repeatedly attacked by two gray bird-like creatures, and these creatures were also seen by others throughout the mutilation outbreak time. Another sighting occurred in the mid-1970s up in Texas, when a farmer asserted that he had encountered a bald bat or a pterosaur-like creatures with short beaks and gorilla-like faces. Three-toed prints of this creature were also said to have been found at this time. Here's a depiction here of it, and it almost looks weird. I mean, take a look at this. It looks like it's got a dog nose to it and dog snout type thing, but he's got like Mickey Mouse ears, elephant ears, and somebody said this was an elephant, and that it's supposed to be him and an elephant on top of it, and then this man up here, this creature, this godlike guy that's over the top of it. Now, is he spitting out his tongue, or is this an elephant and that's a tusk and that's a tusk, and he's putting his trunk up into his mouth? Do you see that? And it's really just a mask laying over this guy. You see how it's cut out like a mask? So people have made a lot out of this thing too, but this is that bat god, and of course he has bad ears and so on. It looks kind of like this. Lord knows how many times they saw these type of bats, but that's the bat god from Zapotec period 3A. Did Dracula inspire the story of the Camazotz? Well, the common vampire bat, D. rotundus, has about an 8-inch wingspan, so they're really not that big. I had some life-size ones that I do that have motorized wings, and I hang them in the trees whenever I do my Halloween. And if you put them out on the little bitty limbs that kind of bob a little bit, and they do their wings, they'll bob around quite a bit, and they kind of go in a circle whenever they do it. But they only have a wingspan of, 8-9 inches or so, and that's it. But then this thing here would have been, have a wingspan of like, almost 2 foot is what they're trying to say off of him by being 25% larger than his wings coming out. But today we know there's things like the giant fruit bats, like the ones that they show in the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and those giant bats that are in that stuff. And you can see what we call flying foxes, and they're just huge. They have 3 or 4 foot wingspans on those guys. But so the common vampire bat was 25% larger. It would require more blood and probably would have attacked larger animals and possibly even humans. It's undoubtable that an attack by a rare giant bat would give rise to legends of supernatural monsters. You can also think, though, if they lived in a group in a cave, and if somebody went into a cave, they might swarm on them, like they do in BatMan type of thing, and just attack them. And, it's possible they could get somebody down, I guess. Who knows? But you look at the size of the skull differences that are here and here, and then whenever we get down here, you look at the side view, right? And the jaw is even much bigger spike, bigger bite. Not just an incisor bite, but it seemed to have almost a grip tooth on it. Right. No. Despite the tantalizing fossil evidence and the strange stories about encounters with giant bats, there isn't any disputable evidence at the moment that D. draculae was common enough to be encountered by ancient inhabitants of South America and Central America on a regular basis, or that the giant vampire bat is still active today. Totally lose my place. Evidence of the moment is that D. draculae was common enough to be encountered by ancient inhabitants of South America and Central America on a regular basis, or that the giant vampire bat is still alive today and could thus be the creature reported in giant bat sightings. Nonetheless, or it could be another form. Nonetheless, the fact that the fossil evidence suggests that D. draculae may have coexisted with humans for thousands of years in the Americas, and the ubiquitous legend of bat-like monsters all over South and Central America does make it a plausible connection. And so yeah, pretty neat. And I don't know, I felt like I had to do one whenever I saw this original up here at the top that I slowly get to for you. I mean, that's pretty tight right there, isn't it? So anyhow, sorry for making up the crap at the first. How many of y'all did I have? Yeah, did I have anybody going? Listen, I'm not going to do that to y'all. It's not my mode at all. If I ever do, I'm going to show you rampantly. I'm making fun of it or whatever. Or I'll be like, parody or something like that. I won't be trying to pull wool over your eyes or tell you, it was Spaceman or anything like that. Unless I think it had maybe Spaceman. So, like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy. And if we find any giant bats, I'll give y'all a holler.